$6.4 billion. Gone in 72 hours. Not stolen by a syndicate, not DARKWIRE, real stories from The Wire. Not drained by a cyber attack. Erased by one man sitting at a trading desk in Paris, drinking vending machine coffee, wearing a rumpled dress shirt. Jérôme Kerviel wasn't your typical villain. Born in 1977 in Pont-l'Abbé, a coastal town in Brittany with a population under 8,000, he grew up in a house where money was counted carefully. His father, Charles, ran a small blacksmith workshop. His mother, Marie-Josée, cut hair in the family home. There were no Bloomberg terminals in that kitchen, no hedge fund dinners. Just a kid who was good with numbers and desperate to prove it meant something. He studied finance at the University of Lyon, then earned a master's degree in financial markets from the University of Nantes in 1999. Not the Grandes Écoles pipeline that fed the upper floors of French banking. No École Polytechnique, no HEC Paris. That distinction mattered. It would follow him everywhere at Société Générale, a quiet ceiling he could feel but never touch. In 2000, he joined SocGen's back office in Paris, compliance work, reconciliation, the unglamorous plumbing of a trading floor. He processed confirmations, flagged discrepancies, learned the architecture of the system from the inside out. For 5 years, he watched the real traders from below. He memorized their workflows. He learned exactly which controls existed, exactly how they were monitored, and crucially, exactly where the gaps were. By 2005, he'd moved up to the Delta One desk, a division that handled index arbitrage and equity derivatives. The legitimate strategy was straightforward. Spot tiny price differences between a stock index future and its underlying basket of stocks. Execute on both sides simultaneously and pocket the spread. Low risk, thin margins, high volume, boring by trading floor standards. Kerviel found it anything but boring. He understood that the same mechanics, large positions in European index futures, specifically the DAX, the Eurostoxx 50 and the FTSE, could be weaponized, not for arbitrage, for directional bets. If he went massively long on futures and the market moved up even a fraction of a percent, the profit on a 10 billion euro position wasn't a rounding error. It was a fortune. The problem was authorization. Traders at his level had strict position limits, typically a few million euros of exposure. Kerviel was about to run positions 50,000 times larger, so he built a shadow architecture. For every real, unauthorized long position he opened, he entered a fictitious offsetting trade in SocGen's system, a fake hedge that made his book appear flat, balanced, risk-neutral. He used the names of real counterparties. He copied the formatting of legitimate transactions. He set the fake trades to settle just far enough in the future that they wouldn't trigger immediate confirmation requests. He knew the confirmation workflow because he had spent 5 years inside it. By late 2006, the fictitious trades were relatively small, a few €100 million of hidden exposure, enough to test the system. The controls didn't flinch, so he scaled. Through 2007, as markets climbed, his unauthorized long positions grew. €5 billion, 15 billion, 30 billion euro. Each time the market moved in his favor, he booked the profit into legitimate accounts, making his performance numbers look exceptional. His managers noticed he was generating strong returns. They didn't look too hard at how. He cleared 1.4 billion in profit for SocGen in 2007 alone. Money the bank was happy to count. But here's where it gets worse. By January 2008, Kerviel's total unauthorized exposure had reached 49.9 billion euro. That number is worth sitting with. The entire market capitalization of Société Générale at the time was roughly 35 billion euros. He had built a hidden position larger than the bank itself. And he had done it while passing every internal audit, every end-of-day risk check, every compliance review, because the fictitious hedges made the books look clean. Then the market turned. Global equities began sliding in early January 2008. Subprime contagion was spreading. The DAX dropped, the Eurostoxx dropped. Every index Kerviel was long on moved against him, and his losses compounded by hundreds of millions of euros per day. He started adjusting the fictitious hedges frantically, rolling fake trades forward, changing counterparty details, anything to keep the illusion intact. On January 18, 2008, a compliance officer at Eurex, the German derivatives exchange, sent SocGen a routine query about an unusually large position. It was the thread that unraveled everything. SocGen's risk controllers pulled the trade, tried to verify the hedge on the other side, and found nothing. They pulled the counterparty confirmation. The counterparty had no record of the transaction. Within 48 hours, SocGen's senior management knew. The position was real, the hedge was fiction, and the loss, as markets continued to fall, was growing by the hour. The bank faced a decision that had no good answer. They could hold the position and gamble that markets recovered, or they could unwind 49 billion euros in futures over 3 days, selling into a falling market, and crystallize the loss. They unwound. Over January 21st, 22, and 23, SocGen's traders liquidated Kerviel's positions. The selling itself accelerated the market decline. The final loss, $4.9 billion, approximately 6.4 billion USD at the January 2008 exchange rate. On January 24, 2008, Jérôme Kerviel was taken into custody by the Brigade Financière, the French financial crimes unit, at his apartment in the 18th arrondissement of Paris. He was 31 years old. The trial began in June 2010 at the Paris Criminal Court. Prosecutors presented 1,071 fraudulent trades entered between 2006 and 2008. Kerviel did not deny the trades. His defense was that his supervisors knew that the profits he was generating were too large, too consistent, for no one to have asked questions. "I was not acting alone," he told the court. The bank saw the profits and chose not to see the method. SocGen's legal team argued the opposite, that Kerviel had deliberately concealed his activities and that the bank was a victim. On October 5, 2010, the court found him guilty on all counts: breach of trust, forgery, and unauthorized use of computer systems. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison, 3 to be served, 2 suspended. The court also ordered him to repay 4.9 billion euros in damages, a figure his lawyers called symbolic persecution, given that Kerviel's total net worth at the time of sentencing was estimated at less than 100,000 euro. He entered Fleury-Mérogis prison south of Paris. He was released in September 2014 after serving less than 5 months, the remainder of his sentence having been converted to electronic monitoring and community service under French sentencing guidelines. He has never stopped insisting he was a scapegoat. In 2016, a French labor tribunal ruled that SocGen had dismissed him without valid cause, a finding that, while narrow in scope, lent some credibility to his argument that the bank bore institutional responsibility. The 4.9 billion repayment order was later reduced on appeal, though the case wound through French courts for years afterward. Société Générale restructured its risk controls entirely. The Delta One desk was overhauled, new position monitoring systems were implemented. The bank paid a separate 4 million euro fine to French regulators for inadequate internal controls, an admission, buried in the settlement language, that the oversight failures were real. One man, one trading desk, 49.9 billion euros in hidden exposure. The largest unauthorized trading loss in the history of financial markets, at least the largest one we know about. The system caught him, eventually. But it took 5 years, 4.9 billion euros, and a routine email from a German derivatives exchange to do it. The question that no regulator has fully answered, the one that should keep every compliance officer awake at 3 a.m., is simple. How many desks right now have a Kerviel sitting at them, and how long until someone in Frankfurt sends the email?